How many times have you followed the crowd only to later realise that that wasn't what you really wanted? In a world that tells us what to do and who to be, it can be easy to lose sight of yourself. But what if you paused and asked just one simple question? It could change everything. We've all done it, following a trend or going along with the crowd just because everyone else is doing it. It's a natural and survival instinct because we're wired to seek connection with others and avoid standing out too much. Fear of missing out too can also push us into making decisions that aren't always in our best interest, just because we don't want to feel left out. And societal pressure too, cultural expectations can also dictate how we act, what we wear, how we live our lives. But just because something is popular doesn't mean that it's the right thing for you. And that is where asking yourself, is this for me, comes in. This question helps build self-awareness by forcing you to pause, reflect, and really think about whether a decision aligns with your values, goals, and desires in life. We aren't encouraged to think independently. As children, we typically had to follow what our parents said and the rules that they set for us. And then at school, there were more rules to follow. We had to meet certain criteria for marking schemes, and were likely funneled off to university at the end because that's just what everyone else did at that point. We get trained into making decisions without thinking, and it's only later that we think, why did I do that? By taking that moment to reflect, then you can avoid future regret. And more importantly, you will make decisions that are much more aligned with who you are and who you want to be, so that you can create an authentic life for yourself. So how do we actually do this in our daily lives? It starts with learning how to pause. So before jumping into a decision, just take a step back and ask yourself, am I doing this because I really want to, or just because everyone else is? One helpful strategy is to write down your values and goals and think about what truly matters to you. And so whenever you face a decision after that, you can measure it against that list. If it doesn't align with the values that you have for your life, then maybe it's not the right choice for you. Even having done that, it can be easy to think about, but what if people judge me for the decision that I'm making? Or what if I do that and still make the wrong decision? It's natural for this to feel scary. Making any decision that goes against the grain is probably going to feel like that because you are going to stand out from the crowd. You are doing something different, and people will probably question the choices that you're making and maybe even judge you for it. But just remember that those fears are temporary, and the confidence that you'll gain from making decisions that are true for you will last much longer. Uncertainty is a part of growth, and every new and authentic choice that you make will come with a bit of risk. But it is in those moments of uncertainty that the real transformation changes. And the key is learning to be really confident in the decisions that you're making. And by doing this and aligning your decisions with your values and the goals that you have for your life, you will make sure that even when you go against the crowd, the confidence that you have in that moment making that decision will stand you in such good stead, because you know that you are making this decision from a really aligned place to get you to the future that you really want to have. How do you make decisions that truly reflect you? I've mentioned values already, so take some time to write down yours and reflect on what is most important to you. It could be independence or creativity. It might be family. It might be something else entirely. Then once you have your list, you can use those values as a guide for every major decision that you need to take. When you're faced with a choice, you can ask, does this align with my values? Will this bring me closer to my long-term goals? And do I actually want to do this, or am I just going along with the crowd? So for example, if your top core value is growth, then you might decide to take a different position at work, which has quite a steep learning curve and is much more challenging, even if it requires quite a lot more effort for the same amount of pay. That would be worth it to you because you are aligned with your value of growth. If freedom is a core value for you, as it is for me, then you might be more likely to decide to work for yourself rather than take a different paid employment position with more rules and restrictions around what you do and where you work. It is crucial to practice standing strong in your decision. It's okay to say no to things that don't align with you and what you want, or that you just don't want to do. And the more that you also surround yourself with people who support your independent thinking and respect your choices, the easier it will be to stay true to yourself. When you start making decisions based on what is right for you, everything changes. You'll notice a significant increase in your happiness and the amount of fulfillment that you feel, because you're no longer living someone else's life, you're choosing to live your own. You'll experience a lot of personal growth too, and every time you make a decision that aligns with your values and who you want to be, you will be moving closer to the person you're meant to be, who lives the life that you want to live. So next time you're faced with a decision, just stop and ask yourself, is this for me? Does it align with my values and the life I want to live? It's a simple question, but it can create massive change in your life. Because at the end of the day, you are the one who has to live with your choices, not anyone else. So make sure that they reflect who you truly are. And practice being discerning with this as well. It's really good to listen to advice and good to consider other people's perspectives and opinions. But don't forget to prioritize your own opinion in making a decision. And always come back to, is this for me?